What up, love bugs? It's your girl Pam. Thanks for stopping by here at Beauty Corner. Today is another eyeshadow palette review. Just a little heads up. The next couple of videos most likely are going to be eyeshadow palette reviews. I have the Jaclyn Hill palette coming up after this one, as well as a new Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that's coming out this Tuesday. I'm filming this on a Sunday and they release it online on Tuesday. Hopefully you guys are seeing this before Tuesday, but if you aren't, it was released on Tuesday. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. Today, you guys know I'm going to be reviewing the Sephora Pro Warm Palette. Super excited about it. I told you guys in my last video that I had ordered it and it came in the mail about, when did it come in the mail? I ordered it that Saturday evening, which was last Saturday, and then I got it, when did I get it? I think I got it like Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days. But anyway, recently Sephora released 3 pro palettes, one in warm, one in cool, and one in editorial. You guys know warm tones is my thing, so I definitely did not want to purchase the cool tone palette. I feel like cool tones don't necessarily look good on me except for gray. The editorial palette is full of colorful eyeshadows, and on a daily basis for me that's not ideal, unfortunately. So I just opted just to get something that is more of my comfort zone, and as you guys know, it is the warm palette. So Sephora released this palette and it cost $68, which is a lot of money, especially for the Sephora brand. I feel like the Sephora brand is not as much as the rest of the products that are in Sephora, and they're not like drugstore prices. They're kind of like in the medium, like MAC. Okay, so that was kind of a shock that it was $68. However, with the $68, you do get 28 eyeshadows, but I believe possibly 3 different finishes, but the majority of the finishes in this palette are matte and shimmer. Now, according to Sephora, they are saying that let me read this. Let me make sure I am reading this right for you guys to give the info. Unfortunately, this info for the warm palette is no longer on Sephora.com because I believe they're sold out on the warm, and that's the only 2 that are available now are the other 2, which is the editorial one and the cool one. But according to Sephora, 15 top makeup artists handpicked for their superior skills, can I say this word right? Unprecedented creativity and ability to inspire through education. So pretty much the top 15 makeup artists of Sephora's choice, okay, hand-picked these eyeshadows. So when you take the palette out of the box, this is what you get. Very basic. This palette is really heavy, extremely heavy. This has to be about 5 pounds, and the way this feels, you would think that this palette has a ton of eyeshadow in here, and it really isn't. It's only 1.2 grams of eyeshadow. Okay, so when you open it up, what you get is a very huge mirror. I will show you guys in an insert the mirror, and then you get your eyeshadows. Okay, and the eyeshadows are extremely basic. I think the only 2 to me personally are not basic are these 2 shades right here. They're the ones that really truly stick out to me. Along with the eyeshadows in the palette, you do get the insert with the names. For $68, Sephora could have etched the names of these eyeshadows within this palette. Okay, for $68, they could have done that. Okay, I don't understand why they think it's okay to put an insert. Like, who the hell's gonna keep this? I'm not gonna keep this shit. Like, are you kidding me? So this is just useless. This is absolutely useless. If that was the case, you shouldn't have just named them. You should have just left them the way they are. Hey, I'm gonna choose this red shadow if you were going to do a tutorial, something like that. This is so freaking useless. They should have just etched this. I'm sorry if I seem angry, but for $68, come on now. You could have put a little bit more effort into this palette. The outside of it is very basic. Not gonna lie, the mirror is really, really nice. But really, these names should have been etched on this palette. But again, these are the eyeshadows. Nothing that truly, truly, truly like, oh shit, this is the shadow. They're very basic. You can find them in a variety of different palettes, especially now because warm tone shadows are it right now. You have the 35O palette that has the mixture of the shimmer and mattes, and then they have their own separate one which is 35 matte O palette, and then the 35 shimmer O palette. The recently launched, I just did a review on the Urban Decay one. You have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Renaissance palette. You have all these palettes, the Natasha Denoni, I think I'm saying her name right. You have her palette that's very warm. You have Violet Voss, who has a warm tone palette, and they all pretty much have the same colors. So Sephora, you kind of late in the game when it comes to this palette. You should have took some more time giving us better colors, as well as, again, I'm going to say this again, I don't care, you should have etched the names on this palette. I'm going to do a couple of swatches of the eyeshadows. I said in my last video when I went to Sephora to pick this up, I did swatch a couple of colors. I swatched this beautiful yellow one right here. I believe this one and this one I did. These two I know off the bat they're very pigmented. Unfortunately this yellow is not. Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. So right off the bat I just pulled the yellow eyeshadow. This looks very pigmented. However, you can tell these are very soft eyeshadows. It's gonna have a little kickback. I don't know, let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, let's try shimmer because I didn't try shimmer before. I'm gonna try the gold one that's above it. Okay, let's see, this color above the red one that's not so warm, it's more of a, I don't know, it has a gold tone to it but not so much. And then I'm going to this pretty like purpley kind of one right here. Purpley. Purple is not even a warm tone, so I don't even know what that's doing in this palette. But let me just swatch those colors for you so you guys can see it. That's that bronze color. This is the yellow shade. This is like a goldy green kind of color, and then that's that supposedly purple shade. So that's what they look like, and they look very pigmented when you do swatches. However, you guys know how I feel. The true pigmentation of the color is when you want use the brush. So I'm actually going to demonstrate a look on my eyes today. Even though I know the yellow isn't that pigmented, you can just even see from the swatch here, even if I rub it, it'll go away. I still kind of want to use it. Is that weird? Or am I setting myself up for a fail? But I still kind of want to use it because it's really, really pretty. So I'm going to demonstrate a look. It's something out of the ordinary. Something warm, but not something typically that I would do. So let's jump into a demonstration on these eyeshadows. And then after that, I will give you my final thoughts on them. And also, after I give you my final thoughts, make sure you stay tuned. I am going to literally do all swatches of each eyeshadow, finger and brush. So let's jump into the demonstration. Okay, so for priming my eyes, I'm going to be using my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. And I'm just going to use my fingers. I kind of want to do a not semi but half a cut crease. Let's see if I can actually achieve that, because I'm not very good at it. Just not. I think I'm gonna start with this color. Okay, let me use my inserts and tell you what color that I'm gonna use. So the first color I'm gonna use is Terracotta, which is this color right, make sure you guys can see, which is, let me take the insert off, which is this color right here. I didn't want to go too dark or too light, and this one's actually perfect. So I'm gonna go with Terracotta. And this has a lot of kickback, and y'all see that? And it's not much on the brush. Y'all peep that? Alright. I just want to make sure y'all know. Ooh. Before I do that, because I already did my face, let me throw a little powder under my eyes. As you guys can see, even though it has a lot of kickback, the eyeshadow is very pigmented from shadow to brush, which I know I love. So this is going in the good direction. Okay, so the next color I'm going to go into is Burnt Umber, which is right next to it, and it's just to define my crease. The mattes absolutely pigmented. They have the fallout, but they also have the pigmentation. Okay guys, so I'm going to attempt to cut my crease. I'm not very good at this, so if you guys don't see me showing you, yeah. Did I do it? Was it successful? I don't know. I practiced it. Oh god. Alright, it's the best that I can do. The best that I can do. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with that pretty yellow, which is called Ochre. Okay. And even though it doesn't have the best pigmentation, I am going to try my hardest to make sure it looks exceptional on the eyes. And again, this has a lot of fallout, guys. Okay, wait a minute. Not bad, not bad. The kickback is real, but okay, hold on a second. It might actually not be bad. Definitely has a lot of fallout. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have fallout all underneath my eyes. This particular eyeshadow has a ton of kickback. Even after you dip your brush into the shadow and you tap it, you still get the fallout. So just be wary if you actually do purchase this product and you want to use this eyeshadow. If you're going to do your foundation first, which I don't recommend, just make sure you have some translucent powder here or the eyeshadow shield to cover your makeup. Just to darken the outer part of my area, I'm going to go in with this black color here. I do not know how to pronounce this. I think it's called Obsidian. I don't freaking know. I'm just going to go in just a little bit of that, because I have a feeling this black is hella pigmented. Just a little. And I'm actually going to bring it in to the cut crease so slightly. Not too much. And this black has very little kickback. Very little. So off camera, I just finished the rest of my eyes. I attempted to do a really nice wing eye, but it just didn't come out like that. I think one is like this and one is like that. Yeah, you guys know one of those days. And then I just took the crease colors and I applied them to the lower lash line. And then I took my paint pot and applied it to my waterline just to brighten up my eyes a bit. I wanted to go back into the palette just to swatch a couple of more shadows. Even though they have a lot of kickback, and I'm assuming they all have a lot of kickback, the eyeshadows were pretty pigmented. The only one that had like a shitload of kickback and you really had to pack on a color was the yellow one, but I think it turned out pretty well. Way more better than what I thought it would have turned out, to be. So I wanted to swatch some of the lighter colors. I always have issues with lighter colors. I always feel like in any palette, regardless if it's expensive or cheap, I always feel like they lack serious pigmentation. So I definitely want to see how those look, and then I'm just gonna do a couple of the darker ones. So this color here, guys, y'all know already feel about the inserts, but I wanted to swatch these colors right here, and then I'm just gonna swatch, actually, you know what, I'm gonna go in this section right here and swatch a couple of colors. So I'm gonna go with the first two. I'm rubbing my fingers in it, and it's just like the yellow one, a ton of kickback. I don't know if you guys can see it. Okay, so those three right here I am swatching, and this is what they look like, very similar in color. So here are those three colors. Okay, if I was to blend them out, they would completely be non-existent, so I'm gonna do that right now. Look at that, you could barely see them. If you were to use these shadows, you would definitely have to pack them on like the yellow one. Let me go in with the other colors. I'm gonna go in with this pretty light color here, which is a shimmer shade, and then I'm gonna go in with the khaki one and the one next to it, this one here, and then these two. Okay, so just so you guys can see it. Oh yeah, that one's pigmented. I can just right off the bat from just swatching it. And then this really pretty khaki one. So those are those colors there. Let me swatch them. This is the khaki color, which is really close to my complexion, actually. Really close to my complexion. That's the one that's beside it. And then this is the shimmer one. Ooh, that one's pretty. So those are those three, those are those three shadows. And the last color I'm going to swatch is this last one right here. It's a weird color, like it's a brown, it's a shimmer, and it has like little specks of gold in it. Oh, wait a minute. This one's kind of patchy. You see it? Do you guys see that? It's not necessarily a shimmer, but it's not necessarily a matte or a satin. It's kind of weird, and it is definitely patchy. So let me show that to you guys. Do you guys see it? Oh wow, there's no pigmentation to that one. Look at that. I'm glad I swatched it. Oh yeah, I don't like that one. You see it? Not so good. So my overall thought for this palette, I think the palette is okay. It is a very neutral, basic palette that you can do a variety of looks with. Do I think it's worth the price point? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's not like a true standout color within this palette. The colors are pretty basic. You can get any of these colors for less than a price individually. Like I said earlier in the video, there are way better warm tone palettes that stick out. The kickback in these eyeshadows, it's a lot. It is a lot of kickback. Like literally, I'm dabbing my brush in it, and you just see it in the shadow pot, and then when you tap the brush, it's a lot, and you can just tell that this eyeshadow palette is just gonna get messy. But if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what a girl like, loves, and adores. Show a girl some love, and I will see you guys in the next video. piece. And don't forget to watch the end of the video with the swatches of all the shadows, finger and brush.
We